And with that, Caroline Levitt wrapping up today's White House press briefing. Welcome back into Newsline. Hi, everybody. I'm Bianca Della Garza, and let's bring in our panel to weigh in on some of the breaking stories she just addressed during that briefing. Christina Bobb, former President Trump attorney and author of the new book, Defiant, Inside the Mar-a-Lago Raid and the Left's Ongoing Lawfare, joining us. And also Charles Marino, former DHS senior advisor, Newsmax contributor. His book, Terrorists on the Border and in Our Country, another great read. All right, a lot of legal things. There's Adam Schiff, who's just responded as well to these declassified documents. But first, I do want to start with the immigration, because that's kind of where we come full circle. You just heard Caroline Levitt talking about a report she's going to verify. But we had record numbers, border lowest number ever, not one single person let in. They also talked about D.C., Charles, 6 illegal handguns seized. Do you think the left would be loving that D.C. is going to be safe? When it comes to law and order, be it with illegals who are committing crimes or be it with just youth gangs in D.C., President Trump seems to have a plan in action, every legal right to do so. Why do you think they continue to be so threatened? Even Muriel Bowser a short time ago coming out to defend, saying we have the best of the best. If so, what gives to what's happening?
Well, it's amazing. You know, speaking about the border numbers, no surprise, the effort that the administration is putting forth in securing the border, not releasing any illegals into the country, preventing programs like asylum and parole from being exploited, and then the interior operations, over 100,000 deported so far. These are all astronomical numbers, and they all lead to accountability, which leads to deterrence. As far as what's going on in D.C., look, sanctuary cities are one of the worst political experiments from the left in the history of this country. They are a failure. And regarding D.C., the perception that crime is out of control is the reality. The fact is D.C. has ceded the city to violent crime.
Right. We want to talk about numbers as well. The CPI report came out. President Trump also had to have, Caroline Levitt talk about all the positive economic growth we are seeing. Because whether it be numbers at the border or numbers when it comes to our economy, it seems somehow on the left, nobody's rooting for Americans or hardworking Americans. Christina, E.J. Antoni will be now over at the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. But even another big development today is President Trump put out on Truth Social that he is considering a major lawsuit because of those renovations Jerome Powell was overseeing at the Fed. Talk to us about just all of the upheaval we're seeing because of people apparently who either have allowed, these overruns in costs, or the fact that there have been adjustments in job numbers. And a big question, even with the Board of Governors saying, why isn't he moving? They all seem to say he is too late as well.
Yeah, I think President Trump's well within his rights to take a look at a lawsuit on this issue. Certainly, the Federal Reserve has been overlooked for generations, and people are starting to take a closer look and saying, hey, why are they, $1 billion over budget, or however much over budget that they were for their renovations? And why did they get the renovations in the first place? And what is it about the Federal Reserve that makes all of this so expensive when they're not even lowering interest rates? They're not even doing what's best for the American people. So certainly during this administration, the Federal Reserve has raised a lot of eyebrows in ways that people haven't really paid attention to them in prior administrations. So if there's ever been a president that can take on the Federal Reserve and rein it in to the point where it's actually serving the American people again, it's President Trump, and I have no doubt that he will use every weapon in his arsenal to bring them to heel, and he's going to do it.
Christina Bobb, Charles Marino, good of you both to stay with us. And also, not just here at home, those big domestic issues, securing our border and protecting Americans. And